Welcome back to the channel. All right, no face cam again today. I'm getting better, but I'm not 100%. But I want to get this out because I know this is going to be something that many of us are already thinking about. And it is going to be, should I select Kingpin or Absorbing Man? Not everyone's going to be able to select both, and not everyone's going to get even either of them. But Kabam did put out the information that for the net unit cost, remember, you're going to get units back from the event. So when the event goes live, keep in mind that when you see the milestones and sorts of things, you're going to get units back as you progress. You're going to need to do the math that day, and I'll be live streaming covering it. But they've said, and it's clear, 15,600 net unit costs for Kingpin or Absorbing Man Selector. These are two incredibly powerful champions. Okay, there's these guys are amazing, and we're going to go over it. And the one thing I want to say before we get too far into this is, remember, I've been saying this to you for years, and I think it's never been more true, more accurate, just getting more accurate, more true. Is no champion in this game is necessary, right? If you don't have those units and it doesn't fit your budget, dude, don't go for it. I know there's FOMO, and I know you want to be able to do it, and that's just, but that's the game we're playing. That's the Marvel, carnival of champions. I've taken to calling it a carnival. Remember, if you even start to think about going outside your budget or something like that, remember they sold Dark Phoenix for over $1,000, and literally the next month they released Nico Minoru. Okay, that's what this game is, and I'm always just wanting to make sure I get the word out. So from here on out, we're going to focus on who should you select and what will I be doing. I'm going to cover each champion relatively quickly. I'm going to remind people of what they do. I've pulled Absorbing Man up, and I'm a big fan of Absorbing Man. He is more current, he's more new in the game than Kingpin's buff was. Some people, if you're new to the game or you've come back to the game, you're like, wait, Kingpin's good. Yes, Kingpin is phenomenal. Both of these champions, when my tier list comes out with the Illuminati, will be in the highest tier for competitive in-game players. Okay, they're also going to be very great for story and questing. You don't have to play war or battlegrounds to enjoy either of them. Absorbing Man, I read through his kit, and I honestly I will admit, and I'm still having trouble not doing it. I started laughing because there is so much absurd utility in this one kit. I want to go over it. If you're going to get him, I think you're going to want to get him awakened, and you're going to want him at high sig. One of the biggest reasons for the high sig is this omnimorph form lasts 40% longer. If you're not familiar with him, these omniforms are a really big deal. Now, what they actually do is spelled out here under the special attacks. And I'm just going to kind of explain this to you. On the special one, you're going to get this black Uru, which is going to grant you the following benefits. You are literally immune to bleed and shock effects, and also 900,000 physical resistance. When Absorbing Man was a 6-star and that was meta in the battlegrounds, we were using him to fight Atumas, and you would sometimes do this to minimize the amount of physical damage you took back. But then you could, if you didn't like that, you could go to the special 2 and trigger the magma form, which literally makes you immune to incinerate, cold snap, and frostbite effects, plus a 9,000 energy resistance. Obviously, this is on Khonshu's on, so that's probably for a rank 5, 7-star, possibly a rank 6. But the resistances are insanely large. It's allowing you to get around so many things. It'll be interesting to test it against like Captain Britain and her energy damage, these sorts of things. And if you're not familiar, if you're relatively new to the game from when Absorbing Man was super meta and being played a lot, I know one of the initial concerns on him was, ooh, is it going to be really tough to like get in a form and stay in a form? Am I going to struggle to stay in Uru or Magma? Absolutely not, especially for the matchups where you're taking him, right? You're going to take him into matchups with buffs. You're going to take him against these cosmic champions. If you play him really, really well, as I said, people are taking him against Atuma. So you just have to like play him really, really well, which is, it says interrupt attacks with a light attack. It's a bit misleading until you really understand the vernacular of the game. What that really means is if they attack you or they heavy or something like that, you can just hit the end of their animation. They're done. They're not going into a new attack animation, and you can use your light attack. And to increase like kind of the absurdity of Absorbing Man, like an absurd in a good way, he has very much a boxer's animations where if you tap light, he actually moves forward. So you can do a double tap light. It's different than like Mr. Knight, who's a very current game champion in the game. And so once you get used to that, I mean, people are using him to take Korg, okay? And these sorts of things, I think he's going to be very current for today's defenders. I'll get to that, but just want to point this out. He has some very strong synergies as well. and including this one with Immortal Abomination and Eye Hulk, he can be immune to poison too. So, for people who are interested in these hazard shift lanes for war or things like that, I think that was really one of the big design intents behind Absorbing Man was for him to be highly focused on hazard shift mystics in war. Additionally, yes, there's more. Like literally, this is why I was laughing. I had forgotten honestly because I was dead set on Kingpin, and then I did this research for this video, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot about all of this. If you look under the molecular duplication there, the second bullet point. Absorbing Man is no stranger to brawling with beings of otherworldly resilience. He reduces the duration of opponents' indestructible, immortality, unstoppable, and unblockable buffs by 90%. He's showing his age very, 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 very slightly, and maybe they still would have even released him this way now. I don't. Well, obviously, we'll never know. But that's reduced. That's only buffs. So if it is a passive effect on the other champion, he will not reduce those. But this was phenomenal for like Terrax, and I think it was like a Nihilus. This could be coming to help you against Serpent as well. There, I found it for you. It's under these refined forms, and you can see it is blocking a hit reduces the opponent's ability power rate by 75%. And then when buffs end on champions, I think it pauses his forms. Like he's just so well built to do what he's supposed to do. It's very hard to stop Absorbing Man in the matchups he's supposed to take. Like I even started using it as a phrase where like if a champion just dominated a node or a defender, I'd be like, well, they Absorbing Man Terrax, right? Like he just makes an absolute joke out of these things. The damage can be insane. It can be massive. If you enjoy using your heavy attack, if you enjoy using your heavy attack into your specials, you're going to get out absurd damage. I will link my my playlist for both Absorbing Man and Kingpin in the description, so you can check them out. I played both of these champions a ton in the previous years. This guy is ridiculous. I think was very well tailored to what he was supposed to do as targeted matchups. He's not going to come in the game and take every single defender or cosmic defender for you. This isn't going to be like what Nico did or what it seems like Spider-Man Pavita Pravarkar is now doing. However, he's going to be very good. He's going to be excellent in war. You can see those hazard shift immunities and resistances coming into play. He has healing. Anything with an armor break, it just like super charges him. He's incredibly flexible. He's going to be good in war. I do believe he's going to be a very good dual threat in battlegrounds. We've talked about that. I do believe in the last battlegrounds update, we'll update it again this month for you, of course. But he's one of the top dual threats. We had him a score of 9 out of 10. And then in story mode, you can see those sorts of immunities, doing those sorts of things to those buffs. And then, of course, remember, he has incredible healing, and some of us, myself included, even used him in long form in Necropolis. Now, he was there with Kate. He wasn't doing like every fight, but some of those really tough fights, he was actually phenomenal for. I used to love going to his SP3. If you look at it, you gain an indefinite cruelty passive. The damage was just through the roof, and it activated your most recent form. So if you were struggling at all, and this would happen to me sometimes, to stay in the current form, right? And that's giving you those bonuses, those immunities, and those resistances. You just went to your special 3. You're going to be want to spec into Mystic Dispersion with him. I realize how long I've been talking about him. We're going to go ahead and move on to Kingpin before I do the full analysis breakdown here and kind of the true verses. On the Kingpin side, if Absorbing Man's more like, let's say, the Maker is for the tech class, and that they're just so finely tuned to these different matchups, so many abilities that are very, very relevant. Kingpin would be more like your future Ant-Man, where it's like they maybe don't specifically answer a lot of things except for his Purify, of course, but they're so outrageously powerful and hit so darn hard that you just literally overpower things. That wasn't intended to be a pun, but it's true. Like this, Kingpin is a champion where if you look at his signature ability, they have these overpowered buff. You're gonna want him awakened. If you're gonna be using him in competitive modes at all, I think even story quests, again, this is a champion you're gonna want to awaken. He's good unawakened. You're gonna want to awaken him. The higher the sig you get, go to 200 if you can, because you're gonna start with these rage debuffs on you, and you can see what that's doing to him on the right hand side of the screen. They are a debuff, but they have no inherent effect. He does heal a pretty decent amount. His base regeneration is set at 50% instead of the normal 100. This is so he's not getting too much willpower healing because these are considered debuffs on him. He hits outrageously hard because they're adding attack as well. And then when he gains more debuffs, he has a 60% chance to purify them, turning them into rage. When he hits 8 rage, he gets that overpower, which means even if he doesn't, because I remember when he first came out, it was like, oh, only a 60% chance to purify. But what we quickly learned, and I was very quickly on it, I was calling him the best skill champion in the game. I meant that, especially at that time, was that once he hit 8 debuffs, it didn't matter. He would purify all of them and turn them into the overpower. So even if you're taking like a hazard shift and you're taking damage from debuff 1 or 2, don't matter. Just keep hitting. It's going to be fine. You're going to turn them into the rage debuff there, or the overpower. I'm sorry. Now, he doesn't reduce ability accuracy all the way to like over 100% like your crossbones, or he doesn't necessarily reduce evade with ensnare like an Okoye. However, hold on, don't go yet. Off of his SP1, he has this ISO 8, right, which inflicts a degeneration debuff, causing significant damage over 14 seconds. But while this degen is active, the opponent suffers 50% attack rating, cool, makes him even more tanky, and 65% defensive ability accuracy. Kabam actually went in and they nerfed him, right? They were aware of that bug for many, many years, and they went in and nerfed him. I'm assuming in anticipation of eventually doing this, because you used to be able to stack those and stack the defensive ability accuracy. This is what we have. This is the champion that's available. So when you do go back and look at my videos of the 6-star, know that is a little bit different. Okay. That being said, a 65% of defensive ability accuracy reduction is still massive. That is significant. It's going to come in very, very handy for you, shutting down things when there's that chance to evade or things like that. Additionally, when an opponent evades or auto blocks, he's going to gain his rage. And you can go to your SB2 and get an unstoppable, which if you're familiar playing Juggernaut, those sorts of things you can use as a counter attack. And if the matchup does not involve debuffs that you can turn into your rage, turning it into overpower, you can go to your special to land your hits with the unstoppable, and it's going to turn into rage. As the rage is going and building up, you're going to hit harder and harder anyway, so it works out well. Additionally, if you particularly enjoy like story questing and things like that, he has these amazing synergies, some of the best synergies in the game. It was really with his synergies, was like, this is the best skill champion. At that time, we used to be able to use synergies quite a bit more regularly. The game was a bit different, and we still get to use them sometimes. And you can see these are excellent, excellent champions. A lot of people love the synergy here with the hood because it makes the Purify 100%. And of course, it's great for hood as well, too, if I remember correctly. And there's another one here with Mr. Sinister. Now we're going to kind of just, I think, talk about the two of them as far as in if you're going to literally choose between the two. What I am probably going to do, and we'll see for sure when the time comes, is I'm going to use all of my units, and I'm going to see what the actual holiday sale entails. And then I will probably get enough Odins so that I can get both of them, because there will be a milestone track in the web store on Kabam's web store, because I do want them both. They're going to be extremely helpful in competitive modes. They're going to both be great in war. They're going to both be great in battlegrounds if you want to use them. They're both dual threats. They both have tremendous attacking capabilities. I did test, again, Kingpin. I knew he was good for a Photon. He can take Spider-Woman as well. I do think he can take Spider-Woman very, very well. This is truly going to come down to which one do you prefer. Hopefully you can play around with your 4-star, your 5-star, see how you enjoy. I will say that Kingpin is more easy to play, is more simple to play, he's significantly more direct in your general matchups. In general, non-targeted matchups, Absorbing Man can feel a little burdensome to play, a little bit. But if you get used to those light punishes, it's not bad. And where Absorbing Man's targeted to be, he is phenomenal. He absolutely pops off and destroys fights for you. They both can be good in long form. They could be short form. I think there's a really great reason why Kabama's moved them to the milestone instead of the box. Neither of them is going to be as dominant as they were when they were at the 6-star peak, and that's just because the game has grown. But I do feel confident both are going to be in the tier above all, the highest tier in your competitive in-game PvP modes, and even if you're just not interested in PvP modes, in your story as well. Let me know who you're going to pick, if you're going to be participating at all. And remember what I said, no champion is necessary. Don't make this be like, oh, this is the reason for me to go beyond my budget. It's not. Always remember what they did to Dark Phoenix literally the month after people spent $1,000. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.